So Donald Trump's slogan when he was running for president was "Make America Great Again." That says a lot, especially when you think about who voted for him. What does it take to make America great again? Has it not been great? Has it ever been? I did a little research about the Statue of Liberty that I'm going to share with you before I elaborate. Edouard René de la Boulaye was an abolitionist and president of the French Anti-Slavery Society, along with a sculptor by the name of Frederick Bartholdi. They're the ones who thought of the idea to create a statue that represented freedom. In the U.S. at the time, in the late 1800s, the Union had won the Civil War and slavery had been abolished. La Boulaye felt that in honor of all these achievements, that France could present a statue to the U.S. as a gift, in hopes that his own people would be inspired to call for democracy against their own repressive monarchy. In 1871, Bartholdi journeyed to the U.S. to present this idea to those of influence. He even picked out where the statue would reside, Bedloe Island, which is now called Liberty Island. The construction of the statue was a joint effort between the U.S. and France, with the U.S. agreeing to build the pedestal while France constructed the statue itself. In France, the monarchs opposed the statue, mostly because it represented freedom, being called Liberty Enlightening the World. Most of the common citizens were in support of it, with municipalities and school children alike donating what they could to aid in its construction. In the U.S., fundraising events were arranged, but to little avail. Bill after bill were vetoed that would provide funds to complete the pedestal, stalling the construction with only $3,000 in funds remaining. Other cities were willing to pay for the full construction, but only if the statue were relocated. It wasn't until Joseph Pulitzer, namesake of the Pulitzer Prizes, established a drive to raise $100,000 that construction was able to begin again, with everyday citizens from alcoholics to school children to old women giving their pocket change in support of the endeavor. The dedication ceremony took place on October 28, 1886, presided over by President Grover Cleveland, the very man who, when he was governor, vetoed a bill asking for funds to complete the statue. President Cleveland stated that the statue's stream of light shall pierce the darkness of ignorance and man's oppression until liberty enlightens the world. The general public was not allowed on the island, nor were any women during the dedication. Suffragists had to charter a boat just to get close enough to view the brand new monument. After the dedication, the Cleveland Gazette, an African-American newspaper, suggested that the statue's torch not be lit until the United States became a free nation in reality. Quote, "Liberty enlightening the world indeed. The expression makes us sick. This government is a howling farce. It cannot, rather does not protect its citizens within its own borders. Shove the Bartholdi statue, torch and all, into the ocean until the liberty of this country is such as to make it possible for an inoffensive and industrious colored man to earn a respectable living for himself and family without being Ku Kluxed, perhaps murdered, his daughter and wife outraged, and his property destroyed. The idea of the liberty of this country enlightening the world, or even Patagonia, is ridiculous in the extreme." End quote. On Lady Liberty's tablet there is a sonnet written by Emma Lazarus, a Jewish woman, entitled "The New Colossus." Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed, sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridge harbor that twin cities frame. "Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp," cries she with silent lips. "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest toast to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. For any of those wondering, tempest tossed, means to be pounded or hit repeatedly by storms or adversaries. This is the brief history of the Statue of Liberty, conceived by a French abolitionist with the greatest of intentions, wanting to mimic the positivity seen on our shores in his own homeland. But as it was then, it is now. The only ones who paid for this symbol of freedom and hope were the poor. Those with any power, those with any clout, didn't think it worthy enough to pass a bill to bring this gift of freedom and unity to fruition. It's not any different than it is now. And when they completed the statue, only the dignitaries were allowed to be there. No women except for the wife and daughter of those whose ideal it was many decades before. So it's supposed to be a symbol of unity and freedom and enlightening the world. But the only ones who were there were old white men with power and money. Not even the ones who financed it. Not even those who emptied their pockets of their $1.35 to do their part to make sure it comes to be. I was listening to Sidra make his post about protecting the business that is America. And unfortunately, the business that is America is all about hate and fear, turning those that make up the populace against each other, while those with all the power take everything, and we fight over the scraps. Make America great again. To listen to this and so many other stories from U.S. history, it was never great. And they treat it as if they sprung from the very soil that makes up the continent, when all of them came here on boats, whether they were venturing to find their religious freedom, they were indigent servants looking for a new start, or slaves brought against their will. Nobody who is here, except the Native Americans, was born here. Their ancestors migrated here, trying to find their new start and make their place, and yet they treat those who are here, working, living, raising a family, legally, being civil citizens, as if they're outsiders, as if there's something they're trying to protect. And they're still the majority, just as much immigrants as anyone else here, but looking down on everyone as if we just pulled up in a little dinghy on the shore with our hands out. It's disheartening. It's so sad because there's so many people who came here from their countries as refugees, homeless, penniless, but when they sailed into the harbor at New York to this country and they saw that statue, it gave them hope. Where is that hope? I don't know where it is. I'm sure she stands there wondering what has happened to the ideals that brought her to fruition, the ideals that made the poor reach into their pockets and give and the rich scoff. Where are those ideals that are supposed to bring us together? The president that we have only pushes us further apart. He pushes us apart here. He pushes us away from other countries. He wages war against those that he need not. What have we brought the representation of the Statue of Liberty to? And I say we as a people of this country because we voted in this despot. And there are so many of you that continue to proliferate this hate for no reason whatsoever. When we are all the same, we all are the result of people who came here or were brought here and found a way despite incredible odds, no matter their color. No one seems to understand that. It's just more and more division. And even in the midst of her creation, there was so much division. When was America great? We haven't seen great yet. We have those who want it, those who yearn for it. There's the potential for it, but we have to be able to push aside all the pain and the fear and the hate to get to the point where we collectively, as a country, can be great. The great that Trump speaks of is a time of pain when he was born, when those of his color were on top all the time, and they didn't have to give anyone else who looked different, not just blacks, anyone else who looked different, a second thought, even though this country was built on the backs of immigrants and slaves. When was it great? When can it be great again? When can this country actually be worthy of the Statue of Liberty and worthy of the promise etched on her tablet? When will we be able to actually open our arms to all those fleeing for their lives, and it be safe for all concerned? I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could give an answer. But it's painful to think of that even almost 200 years later, all the obstacles that she had to overcome to be built are still here, and that we're still trudging through the same xenophobic muck and the classist crap, just trying to survive, let alone exist in this country that beings are trying to make great when it never really has been, just because of people like them. I hope that many more of us can open our eyes and stop putting the power in their hands. There isn't any other way to get around it. We have to stop putting the power in their hands and keep it for ourselves. Because just like those alcoholics and old women and school children pull together to raise Lady Liberty, we're going to have to pull together ourselves. That's 99%. That's 99% to raise ourselves up out of what they have pushed us into with their corporations and their lies and their talking points. America can be great. We can be worthy of the gift that France gave us. We can be worthy of the collaboration of poor people over 150 years ago if we want it. We just have to stop putting the power in their hands. This is Sidra Owens for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.